Would you like to hear a funny fun fact? One of the previous development teams made a hilarious mistake, one that may or may not have resulted in an undesirable anomaly entering the game's code. Please accept that statement as our full legal disclaimer and absolution of responsibility and potential harm to you.
Muy buenas a todos, señores, señoritas, animales y lo que haya por allá, que estamos en otro vídeo de Five Nights at Freddy's Wanted. Tras superar por lo visto el juego, al menos a mí, cada vez que inicio hasta aquí, me sale un diálogo diferente al comienzo de Hand Unit, que es el que ha hablado ahora. Así que bueno, cada vez que iniciemos un vídeo a partir de ahora, con el DLC y todo, pues dejaré lo que diga si es diferente. Y bueno, pues hoy toca mostrar dos finales, pero para eso vamos a tener que recoger todas las cintas que ya mostré en el anterior vídeo, donde se ubican. Además también mostré todas las monedas, pero lo importante ahora son las cintas, ¿de acuerdo? Tenemos que darle aquí, una vez tengamos todas las cintas, y le vamos a dar... ¡Hostia, amigo! Hoy vas a ser importante, me parece a mí. Tenemos que darle... ¿Dónde era, tío? Aquí. Pues aquí mismo. Y ahí están todas. Son 16. Así que vamos a ir una a escucharlas.
Hello? Can you hear me? Don't exit this room, okay? This isn't a mistake. This room isn't a mistake. I had to hide these logs away from the core gameplay files, in a place that only a beta tester would look, and in a place where the files could be protected. I just really hope that the next development team finds this before the game is released to the public. This game has some kind of malicious code in it that we haven't been able to fully contain, or even understand for that matter. We're over budget and out of time. But that's not the reason that we're shutting down. Listen, I have to keep this short, so the file size will be small enough to fly under the radar. There are more. They may not be in order. I saw it for the first time today. There was a character I couldn't make out who it was, standing at the end of the hall. I thought it was just bugged out, so I made a note of it and kept playing. But then it was looking in the window, and not like Chica or Bonnie would. It was like it was actually looking in the window, seeing what I was doing.
Esto huele a que se refiere a
I heard a pretty
Glitchtra.
heated conversation this morning between Dale, our manager, and someone else on the line. It really feels like this project is in trouble, in no small part because of the lawsuit, I'm sure. There has to be a lawsuit, there's no way there isn't. It happened in this building just a few doors down from me. I think it's made worse by the fact that Jeremy tried to tell us something was wrong. But as a dev team, we all just saw it as a challenge to find what the problem was and fix it. Who could have known that? I have to go. Have you ever heard of a guillotine paper slicer? It sounds made up, but it's an actual piece of office equipment. I didn't even know we had one in the supply room. I guess they're more common at businesses that do a lot of graphic design work. I remember seeing one when I was still in school, and even then, I knew how dangerous it looked. I was always afraid of losing a finger. That seems so silly now. Jeremy used to do design work. I guess that's how he knew it was there.
Bueno.
The drawers have been emptied out. Someone was here. I don't think it was spring cleaning either. No, there was plastic on the floor. Someone was definitely here during the night. It had to have been the client. I mean, they sent us that stuff in the first place with no explanation, told us to scan it, said it would expedite the process so we wouldn't need to program any pathfinding ourselves. It was a budget thing, I guess. It was just junk. Circuit boards and things like that. Looked pretty old. Somehow, though, there was usable code on some of it. It seemed to take hold by itself. Things started changing. But then, he started appearing. At least that's what Jeremy said. I came in early that morning. No one else was there. At least that's what I thought. The supply room was lit. I didn't even notice Jeremy standing in the testing room as I walked past. The supply room was so bright, glowing from all the way down the hall. Jeremy complained of nightmares when he came in this morning. He wasn't talking about it like someone telling a friend about his dreams, though. He was pale, looked like he hadn't eaten in days. He spent an hour talking in Dale's office. but it didn't look like he was given much sympathy. When he came out, he went directly back to the testing room. He doesn't even jump anymore. Nothing scares him. He just stands there like he's talking to someone. Sometimes he rocks from side to side. We were told to leave him alone. I knew I was in line to do the testing next. They'd been prepping me for it. I guess they knew that Jeremy would need to be replaced soon. You can always tell when a company is getting ready to fire someone. They start giving out written warnings for silly things, making sure to build a paper trail and make a case for a firing. Things that normally no one would care about suddenly become grave offenses, all worthy of being written and documented. I guess it works two ways, because it also encourages a person to quit rather than be scrutinized so heavily. I think Jeremy was too far gone to consider that option, though. The thing about it is that I don't think they were going to fire him because of anything he was doing wrong. They just knew he'd seen something. They needed to discredit him. There was something that looked like a Halloween mask laying on the floor. I didn't understand. Ink must have spilled. It was only then that I heard a shuffle from the testing room and realized Jeremy must be there. I went back and peered in the window. I couldn't see his face. He had the visor covering his head. He had ink spilled on himself as well. The front of his shirt looked black in the dark room. He turned his head in my direction, but I don't think he knew I was there. I was told I had 3 days to finish Jeremy's work, but I know it's just passing the time. They don't really expect me to do anything. It's just to keep up appearances until the buyout is complete. We have to look like we have things under control. There's another potential development studio that wants to pick up from here, but who knows what kind of lies they're being fed to convince them to do it. Against my better judgment, I'm going to do my best to see what's here, make notes of it, and try to isolate where this thing is hiding. At least then the next person that tests this will have a chance of getting rid of it.
Siempre hablan de deshacerse de él, de alguien.
Today was my last day of beta testing, and the anomaly that I've been seeing is nowhere to be found. But after inspecting some of the files, it seems that it's attached itself to these logs. My logs. That can't be an accident. So now I have to make a choice. Do I leave these logs here for you to find, or do I try to purge this thing myself by destroying the logs? I've chosen the latter.
Oye, ¿por qué no se ha traducido eso, tío?
I can't delete them. By creating a protected area to store these logs apart from the game, I effectively gave this thing a safe place to hide itself. It's in here now. I may not be able to delete it, but I might be able to do something else now that it's attached itself. I have an idea.
Está hablando como si fuera un virus, lo que hay que eliminar. Porque al principio han hablado de un código.
They told us that the whole point of this VR game was to undo the bad PR done by a rogue indie game developer who supposedly made up a bunch of crazy stories that tarnished the brand. But that's not true at all. In their haste to develop this VR game and clear their name, they sent us some things I don't think they intended us to see, such as a hard drive containing emails between Fazbear Entertainment and a certain indie developer. Fazbear Entertainment hired the game developer. Those indie games were designed to conceal and make light of what happened. This isn't just an attempt to rebrand. It's an elaborate cover-up, a campaign to discredit everything.
Muy bien.
I ran a fragmentation program on the area of memory that was storing these logs for you. I effectively broke the files into pieces and broke the anomaly along with it. That means that you won't have my warnings to guide you, but hopefully it also means that this anomaly, this virus, or whatever it is, will remain broken and unable to do more damage. Hello. You don't know me. I had created a series of logs for you documenting the troubled development of this VR game that you're now testing, in hopes that you, whoever you are, and whatever team you are with, will abandon development. Now I fear that those logs are being used as a Trojan horse. If you are unable to abandon development, hide all traces of these logs that I've created. I fear that finding them and reassembling them will also reassemble the very thing I've tried so desperately to destroy. There is a way to kill it. It wants to escape through someone plugged into this game. That's you now. You have to let it begin the process of leaving through you. Then use the disconnect switch that I've embedded by the main stage. Let it approach you. Let it begin to merge with you. Play the music and flip the switch. That will cause a hard restart of the game and flush the memory, effectively killing it. I hope. I don't know when it will come for you.
Vale, en esta última cinta nos da la pista de lo que hay que hacer para conseguir el final secreto. Aunque hay dos finales, son dos alternativas. Y ahora cuando vayamos al menú hay una probabilidad de que por lo visto aparezca Glitch Trap delante nuestro. Si ocurre eso, primero voy a intentar mostrar un final y luego el otro, ¿de acuerdo? No se garantiza que al darle a menú vaya a aparecer, así que hay que volver a entrar aquí, ir de nuevo al menú hasta que aparezca. Así que yo haré una transición y justo veréis cuando él aparezca sí o sí. Mira, justo ha aparecido, ¿de acuerdo? Esta vez no voy a tocar absolutamente nada. Voy a esperar a ver qué ocurre, ¿de acuerdo? Por lo visto, en este final se va a fusionar conmigo. Y eso significa que él, de algún modo, se ha liberado. Y no sé si es que ha salido del juego o simplemente se ha liberado. Ahora soy él. ¿Veis? Ahora estoy en su perspectiva. Yo era Glitch Trap en ese momento. Y este es uno de los dos finales. Así que vamos a intentar localizar el otro, el realmente secreto y bueno.
You're doing a great job, and no doubt having a great time as well. As a reminder, please be sure to only interact with core gameplay elements and avoid anything that could potentially be considered a glitch, mistake, or embedded message from unauthorized personnel.
De acuerdo, lo que tú digas. Bueno, vamos otra vez a meternos aquí dentro. Y ahora pues nada, hasta que vuelva a salir. Puede perfectamente pasar un rato, pero hay que ir intentándolo, ¿de acuerdo? Vale, entonces, se supone que hay que darle primero a espectáculo, luego llevar esto aquí a la derecha, no sé cómo, porque no quiere, darle a premios, y aquí, y pum. Perfecto. Así es como se hace, ¿de acuerdo? Y aparecemos en esta puerta gigante, delante de esta puerta, que tiene como arañazos, que seguramente sean de Glitch Trap, y vamos a ver qué ocurre aquí. Hostia, amigo. Increíble esto, ¿eh? Sí, yo... Uf. Cómo mola esto, ¿eh? Vale, en principio tras superar... Bueno, tras conseguir este final y ver esto, aquí debería aparecer un muñequito. Que lo voy a dejar aquí un momento. Voy a poner la luz normal, porque es de Glitch Trap. Es como que quizá queda encerrado en un peluche. Yo creo que esto es simplemente una recompensa, pero ya se ha visto que está detrás de una puerta. Quizá queda encerrado para siempre. Es como un virus. En el otro final, el virus se fusiona con nosotros, pero en este es como que a lo mejor queda encerrado y ya no se puede liberar y está como ya resguardado. Ya no hay peligro de virus. Digo yo, no sé, así lo interpreto yo. Algún día ya se profundizará en eso, pero... Bueno, nos dan este peluche. Vamos a dejarlo porque seguramente sea importante y a partir del siguiente vídeo empezaremos ya el DLC de Halloween. Pues no, señores, yo me había despedido, pero falta algo por hacer. Hay algo más que cambia, es cierto. Por poco lo olvido. Vamos a volver a superar terrores nocturnos. Simplemente voy a mostrar ya la zona final. Esto que vais a ver solamente se puede ver tras conseguir el final que os acabo de mostrar, ¿de acuerdo? Así que vamos a llegar al final de Pizza Party y a ver qué pasa. Bueno, hemos llegado al final, ¿de acuerdo? Ya hemos vuelto hasta aquí. Y en esta ocasión tendremos la opción de ir hacia aquella puerta. Ahora esa puerta está abierta. Vamos a ir hacia ahí. Y tras salir, señores, aparecemos aquí. Esto se tiene que cargar, perfecto. En una zona nevada. Esto es increíble. Aquí solo se puede acceder tras conseguir ese final. Y... va un poco raro de FPS. No se puede ver de cerca lo que pueda haber allí, no tengo ni idea. Y bueno, pues ahí pone Coming Soon. Esto se supone que sería un teaser de lo que sería luego Security Breach, que sería el siguiente juego. Y aquello parece que es como un... no sé qué es, pero parece que sean obras en construcción, ¿no? Porque es una grúa y supongo que representa que el siguiente juego estaba en construcción. Obviamente a estas alturas ya existe y todo, pero... bueno, pues es una zona secreta y me gusta, señores. Y a partir ya del siguiente vídeo pues empezaremos el DLC de Halloween, así que aún quedan minijuegos que superar y lo pasaremos muy bien. Por lo tanto, ya dejamos este lugar secreto y yo me despido, así que no me enrollo más. Disfrutad de vuestros días, pero recordad sobre todo de vuestras noches. ¡Hasta la próxima!